Has there been, in the sort of purist boxing community, I imagine there must have been some pushback. It's seen as like this noble art, the sweet science. Where's your stance on this? Do you think that these YouTube boxing events should be allowed?
I think if they are YouTubers against YouTubers and they have an account and they've got themselves a license, sorry, there's no what's the difference between someone off the street who wants to start to become a boxer? I mean, as long as they're of a reasonable age, they get licensed. Absolutely, go for it. I think it's great. But then box people at a novice level. So a YouTuber fighting another YouTuber, as long as they've done the training and everything. And I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to have to wake up with my son and watch the KSI against Paul fight. I mean, listen, as I said, in my teens, I hung around gyms. I've seen all sorts. Yeah, I fought myself. I was a terror. I had two left hands, and unfortunately, I'm not a southpaw. So, I've seen boxing at all levels, and it was entertaining. I thought actually KSI is quite athletic. I think that below the Pauls are clearly as well. But it's obviously levels off Floyd Mayweather. I mean, that's like me saying, I played a bit of tennis back in the day. I'm going to become Federer. I'm going to do a 3-month camp, and I'm challenging you. Roger Federer and me. We'll do it down Regent's Park. We'll book a court. That's I mean, seriously, that part. It's entertainment, though. If they want to do it, then do it. But it's not boxing, But listen, it probably makes a lot of number sense, but.
What's the difference between that, a YouTuber fighting a YouTuber and a YouTuber fighting a boxer then? Is your concern for the safety of the YouTuber, or is it something more kind of sacred about the fact that Mayweather shouldn't be going down to the level of someone that's just a YouTuber?
I think that, first of all, it's so unrealistic that unless that boxer, and this is in the case Mayweather's case, unless he toys with him and I don't know, throws his punches at 30%. I think it's bloody dangerous. I think that it's not tennis. The example I used with Federer was a bit of a laugh, but it's a thing that if you've ever stood in a ring and I've been in a ring with, as I mentioned before, as a terrible gym fighter. That's how I would describe myself. I wouldn't even call myself an amateur. As a terrible gym fighter who liked a bit of a tear up as a kid. I remember being in a ring with my old coach. Actually, he was a pro. He was nothing special. He was a decent. But listen, when I say nothing special, it's still a great credit to him. He was a British level pro. Had to retire with certain medical reasons early and became a trainer. Clay O'Shea, great trainer, and I remember him sparring with me. Well, he wasn't even sparring, he was toying with me. And what you understand, it is the sweet science. If you can box properly, you won't come near me. You won't be able to even land leather in my area. Yeah. And I remember standing there throwing my right. I was 19, 20 years old. Lots of testosterone in me. And I was giving it a real go, and I was throwing my right. I just remember him just moving and dropping me with a body shot. And the body shot, for people who don't know, is aimed at the liver, which has the direct impact of cutting the oxygen to the brain about 2 seconds later. So you stand, and then boom, you go to the floor. And I was like, whoa, okay, that prospect of a pro contract is definitely gone. Probably didn't help that I had a terrible hangover from the night before. The liver certainly felt it. And it was my memory, and that has always stayed with me. So when you see these journeymen in the ring and you think, oh, they're rubbish. Yeah, that journeyman, if you stood with him, you wouldn't get near him, right? So to say, and once again, credit to the YouTubers. I've been very harsh in other interviews about them, but I do give them credit for the training they put in, because I mean that KSI was in the condition of his life. That Paul, like I said, it seems to be, is what he is. I think he's a bit of a knob when he goes and talks and he disrespects fighters. I think that's disgusting, and I think he deserves to be put in his place. But the realism of him and Floyd Mayweather, who is, once again, not my ex-British level pro trainer, and, this is Floyd Mayweather. This is arguably, definitely the greatest defensive boxer of all time. So what on earth are you doing in a ring with him in your what is it, his second pro fight? And by the way, just to put this on paper, he lost his first pro fight against KSI. So he's got a record of 0-1, and he's fighting the greatest defensive boxer of all time. Okay. Ricky Hatton, by the way, a legend, a great fighter, got knocked the fuck out by Mayweather. Now, you tell me Logan Paul and Ricky Hatton have in common in the boxing ring? Nothing, apart from they both have two legs. That's it. There's no other similarity. They don't even have the same hands. Yeah, they don't even have the same hands. So Logan Paul, give it a go. Don't mouth off about fighters when you are a YouTuber. Let's get that straight. You are a YouTuber. But you're very good at YouTubing. But maybe beat another YouTuber first and then call out, I don't know, call out the local area champion, maybe. The greatest of all time, and then talk crap about him as well. But once again, I get it. It's for business, and it's fine. I just hope that Floyd has one hand taped behind his back at the time, and Floyd has the other hand taped behind his head at the time. He'll still win.
Then it might be a fair fight.
He still win, because the other guy, if he wanted to, wouldn't lay one glove on him, even without hands. So, so how do I see it? I think it's great that these guys they are making an effort to train. It's not like they go in there and just, they do put the time in the gym, and that's all good. But they should be fighting at levels which is entertaining for us. I'm not saying that I was super entertained now as a purist by watching KSI Logan Paul, but I respected it. And I let my son watch it. I let him pay his €5 in pocket money for it. But
if it brings that younger audience in,
exactly.
I imagine that for you guys down the line, where are they going to be if they watch Mayweather Logan Paul and they love it, and then they think, well, actually, this boxing stuff's all right, and then they go to their local gym, and then maybe they start paying for your pay-per-views because they get into the more pure side of stuff. I think what you've identified there is kind of what everyone has in the back of their mind, which is that the gulf in ability between anyone that hasn't been a boxer since they were a kid and dedicated their entire life to it, and even the worst pro is probably absolutely massive. And we don't really realize that, because obviously when you see Mayweather Pacquiao, they both make it look so effortless. But we might see, probably for the first time, I think, someone who's like a proper noob, like a normie stepping into the ring with, as you say, someone who's essentially a ghost.
Yeah. But once again, even Conor McGregor Mayweather was a farce. Yeah, I mean, it was a farce that sold a shitload of pay-per-views. Yeah, it sold and it was a and I watched it. But I mean, Conor's a great fighter in the terms of fighting. He's a mixed martial arts. Sorry, Conor. Mixed martial arts expert, and he's let's face it, he's been the face of the UFC for the last 5 years. Win or lose, it don't matter. It's Conor McGregor. He's the most recognizable face in the history of the UFC by a mile. And probably the only fighter I would say that has transgressed beyond the brand of those three letters. He's the only one, if he walked down Oxford Street, who everyone would pick out. Georges St. Pierre, you could argue back a few years, but when he walked down Oxford Street, I don't think he would get stopped by a mob. McGregor certainly would, alone by the way he walks. But now I'm digressing from the question. So how do I see it? Once again, I referred to that fight because that is a fight between a great fighter and a great boxer, and it was in a way an interesting spectacle. Did Mayweather let him have a few rounds to make it more interesting? I'm pretty sure he did.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure he did. Mayweather is a genius. You know, he is an absolute genius in the ring. There's been no fighter like him ever. Not in terms of being exciting going forward, but he developed the shoulder roll. He developed the shoulder roll, which, if anyone doesn't know what a shoulder roll is, it's when you lift your shoulder up almost as a third hand to protect your chin. You know, he would ride punches with shoulders. I mean, you know, he did things defensively. So, but this was against opposition like Oscar de la Hoya, like Ricky Hatton I just mentioned, like Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he schooled Canelo Alvarez, yeah? And Canelo Alvarez wasn't a baby then, by the way. He was an up-and-comer, but he wasn't a baby. This is the greatest fighter on the planet at the moment, Canelo Alvarez, and Mayweather schooled him. But now Mayweather, no, it's a 50-50 against Logan Paul.